Welcome back, everyone.
Wait.
No.
Restart. I burped.
It's not the first time. Welcome back, everyone, to Pod of Thrones. I'm Jeff.
I'm Jennifer.
It's an exciting time. There's really too much shit to watch, but Westworld has been a priority of this show since the beginning of Westworld. So that has inspired us to finally get back to the microphone and talk about some shit.
Yes.
Yes.
Finally.
We got a lot of shit to talk about in the bigger picture, but I think things that are not Game of Thrones and Westworld, they can wait and just be done like a season at a time if need be, if there's a lot of things going on. So like we got some boys to talk about at some point, but the boys season is in, it's conflicting with Westworld. So even though I thought we were going to do an episode about that, Westworld kind of snuck up on us.
Which is more popular, Westworld or The Boys?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. I don't know. And they're on two different streaming services, so it's probably hard to get a real comparison going.
We might have to do a We Watch The Boys.
Well, do you want to do episode by episode on The Boys?
God, no.
Okay. Well, we will have to talk about The Boys. We've mentioned watching them before, but we've never done like a real episode about The Boys. So we might have to just talk about everything Boys, because it's fucking crazy. But today we're going to talk about Westworld. However, before we talk about Westworld, we've got some other stuff we got headlines. We got some headlines, including some Game of Thrones headlines, even some Westworld headlines, and some other shit. So I'm going to start with this one, and I want you to brace yourself. It's not good news.
Oh, no. Okay.
If you're listening to this, sit down. If you've been with us for a long time, I'm sorry. Iego, our number one listener and friend, he was the first one to bring this to me, and then I was like, he's probably crazy, but he was not. Raised by Wolves will not be returning. We will not get the answers to 835 questions that they left in front of us at the end of season 2.
Well, it wasn't very well marketed.
Okay, sure.
Also, it was weird.
Very weird.
It takes a certain kind of weirdness to like that kind of weird.
Are you saying we're weird?
Yes.
All right.
So I'm not surprised. I was surprised it actually was renewed the first time.
It took, maybe it must have been COVID, but it took an awfully long time between seasons.
Mother's not a likable character or relatable or anything like that. Father isn't really either. They're so strange.
Father's a little bit relatable. Like he's more human than Mother is.
And then you got this weird new thing.
Which one? Like the sky dragon worm? The sky, what was it even?
Yeah,
it turned into a tree. No, the girl turned into, the worm turned into a tree too.
Oh, I was talking about the robot, the ancient.
Oh, the ancient robot, right? We're not going to know what her deal is, but it seemed to be that she was probably on the side of the thing that turns things into monsters. But yes. She was probably rationalizing it in the same way that like
Mother did.
HAL 9000 was rationalizing killing people in 2001, right? Like there was some logic chain of like maybe humans can't survive on this planet, so to make them survive, I'm going to make them evolve into monsters, but then at least they're alive. Something like that. I bet she had some kind of rationale.
Right. She would do anything to make it survive because that's her program.
Yeah. And now I guess we'll never know. There's always fan campaigns and shopping it around.
But that's not real.
No, but it is such...
Is there a book?
It is... No, I think this was an original creation from the minds of crazy people. But I would say, much like Firefly, like, I don't know, I don't think Raised by Wolves has the same kind of rabid fan base as Firefly, but if there was any chance for, like, just a movie to wrap it all up like Firefly got, that would be all right. That'd be nice. Just like a 2-hour...
Sure.
Here's the crazy shit, and we're going to...
Close it up for you. Yeah, we need closure.
I would love some closure on Raised by Wolves, because it was a real mindfuck by the end of season 2.
For sure.
Now, here's some good news. Something that we kind of knew, but now it's finally officially official. Netflix is officially greenlighting season 2 of Squid Game.
What?
Yep. Gi Hun returns. The frontman returns. Season 2 is coming. So,
didn't we suspect that the front man was dead or Gihan was dead. No, we knew both of them were alive.
Front man got shot in the shoulder, I think. It was his brother that we're not sure about. The one that was the cop that infiltrated the place. We're not really. Right. He didn't die on screen. He fell into the ocean. Mm-hmm. So he could be back. Let's see. They've said who's coming back. New characters and developments. The man in the suit with the Dejaki might be back. That's the throwing squares. Those squares of paper.
Oh, I like him. He's sexy.
The announcement also said that viewers will be introduced to Cho-Soo, the boyfriend of the show's infamous animatronic doll, Young Hee.
A boyfriend?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess those robots are dating. Let's see. Squid Game was the biggest ever series at launch for Netflix, so you can't. 1.65 billion hours of viewing in the first month. That's a lot of hours.
Really?
That's a big ass
That
show.
can't be possible. I would say we were Squid Game for last Halloween.
Uh-huh.
People didn't know who I was. I mean, a lot of people did that were in the younger generations, but like older people are like, what is that?
It was weird. We did, when at Halloween in our neighborhood, at least, we did seem to get recognized a lot more by teenagers than adults. Mm-hmm. And our kids, some of our kids, I don't think all of our kids, but some of our kids watched it.
Well, yeah, and it became popular in like middle school. My son came home saying they were playing Squid Games, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, 3 of my friends died. Well, now that's the other thing. So Netflix is also doing a Squid Game game show.
Oh, that's awesome.
The prize is something like $4 million. You have to be English speaking and willing to travel to England where they're filming it. And I mean, we could apply if we want. Want to try to win $4 million?
Yeah.
But I don't know, like,
what do we have to do?
Well, some of the games, like cutting the honeycomb, or red light, green light, that's something almost anyone could do. Like Il Nam, the old guy, right? Mm-hmm. On the other hand,
he couldn't do the cookie.
The tug of war, the glass jumping, those were a little more physical activities that maybe older folks like us would not be as well equipped for. But on yet a third hand, probably a penis, they're not going to be killing people, so the activities can't be as intense.
We could try.
And if you lose, it's not...
We have to pay our own way to England?
No, I'm sure you don't. A show like that's got to have some kind of travel budget.
I wonder. Well, let's look into the application. We'll see.
Okay. Mark that down as an item for our to-do list. See if we can apply.
I'll put it on my to-do list right now.
Okay. Squid Game, real game show applications. All right. And let's see. We'll save the Game of Thrones. Okay. One more before Game of Thrones headlines. I just found this funny, and this only matters if you've been watching The Boys at all, which maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I know, again, we haven't talked about it yet, but I just find this headline hilarious. Far-right fans of The Boys are apparently having a raging meltdown after finally realizing that Homelander is a villain.
Really?
Yep.
No way.
No, I read this article like a week ago, so I
that can't be real.
No, so it comes from a mindset that even though the boy, here was something on Twitter, someone was taking screenshots. The Boys subreddit on Reddit, is chaos right now. Threads getting locked, users rage deleting whole accounts. It's amazing. Right-wing users are whining about no politics, but it's impossible to talk about the show without politics now. Fans who thought Homelander was cool are in a meltdown, and it's just stuff about, like, I guess the general idea is like, okay, obviously Homelander has done some shady stuff, but on the other hand, he's this all-powerful guy, and he's just got to learn, how to control himself better. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where people are at. Like, people were hinging, and I don't know why that's...
They thought he was going to be this, like, good guy that, like, reformed himself and...
Right, like, he can turn it around.
Made good on Homelander.
Yeah, he killed
Homelander's name.
He killed a plane full of people. He might have raped a person or two.
He had no choice.
Well, no, he was just raised badly. He just has to.
Of course,
he needs someone bigger to unite against with all the heroes, and then he's going to learn to fight for the forces of good. And
it could happen still.
It does almost feel Trumpian in a way, because like, you know, a lifelong fucking scam artist and you know, crook. And then they want to envision him as this shining hero that's going to save the country. And I guess Homelander sort of hit him a similar way. And not just Homelander. There was a bit about Blue Hawk, a guy who we saw in one of the previous episodes who like curb stomped a unarmed black man on, you know, just killed him mercilessly.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently a lot of it is them finally coming to grips with the fact that Homelander is irredeemable and is the bad guy of the show.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love it.
So that was interesting. Game of Thrones. There's a big Game of Thrones headline. I've got like 3 different browser tabs open. Oh, well, no, there's a small Game of Thrones headline first, just as an update, because it hit me the other day that I hadn't been thinking about it. There is no update on the Game of Thrones official fan convention that was postponed. It was supposed to be February of 2022. Yeah, it was supposed to be February 2022 in Vegas. And there has just been 0 news. So they haven't even rescheduled it yet.
They have nothing to talk about.
Once you reschedule it, you've got to give people 6 to 12 months to get their shit together to travel, right? To make plans and to buy tickets and but there's no update. So I guess that's not going well. I'll try to remember to check in on it.
Well, also there's a lot of angry Game of Thrones fans.
Oh. Now, there's a conspiracy theory in the making. So maybe the convention didn't have to be canceled because everything goes in Vegas. No one cares about COVID, but attendance wasn't looking good. So they made an excuse. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe. They made no excuse. They just canceled.
Well, I think they blamed the pandemic, as I recall. Like they said, we're not ready yet.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
conditions, numbers are up and blah, blah, blah.
They're probably looking at their numbers and
yeah, well,
figuring out.
And COVID would hurt attendance numbers too. But what you said was something I hadn't thought about before. Was just maybe people are like, "Fuck Game of Thrones," which isn't good for our numbers either. But but wait, maybe this will help. Here's the other big Game of Thrones headline. I maybe you heard about this already because it seems kind of major. But from the Hollywood Reporter. You know nothing about HBO's post-Game of Thrones plans. The network has entered into early development on its first sequel to its blockbuster fantasy drama, a live-action spin-off series centered on the fan-favorite character Jon Snow.
Is Kit Harington going to be in it?
Kit Harington is attached to reprise the role should a series move forward. The actor was twice nominated for an Emmy for his portrayal.
He's not going to be in that.
Well, he already said yes, apparently.
No.
They said he's attached. That means he signed a contract that said if we do this series...
He's going to take himself back to the days when he was...
miserable and drinking himself to death?
Yeah,
apparently.
I don't know if that's a good idea, Kit.
Well, I hope he's listening. Well, do I hope he's listening? Well, I want him to be well.
Yes,
but,
I love him. He is my second husband.
Hey, wait. Are you sure?
No.
Because... I thought you only had eyes for Henry Cavill.
Oh. Well, maybe Kit's more accessible for me.
Well, Kit's married. Henry Cavill's single.
No, he's got a girlfriend. He's got a fiance.
He's not married yet. You still have a chance to break it up, to smash into the wedding like fucking The Graduate or whatever that movie is.
Oh.
Is it The Graduate?
I got a lot of work to do before that happens.
So blah blah blah. Lots of projects.
So
in
when
development.
is this?
They're in early development, so we're a long, long ways away.
I just don't see that happening. I think they're trying to stir up some.
There was a second headline that says Game of Thrones creator reveals working title of Jon Snow spinoff. Any guesses?
Bastard.
You're so close. According to Martin's latest blog post, the Game of Thrones spinoff's working title is simply Snow.
Oh, I was going to say Snow.
But it does mean bastard.
Snow. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was the name. That was the last name given to all bastards in the North.
Oh,
there was sands and rivers and snows and...
That's right.
Some other stuff.
Way to go, me.
Okay, puppy dog, this is not the time to bite my hand. But if gnawing on it will keep you quiet, I guess that's what
I think he's trying to tell us something.
Did one of the kids fall in a well?
It's 7 o'clock. He's like, I'm hungry.
Oh, they didn't have dinner yet? Should we pause the show and give the dogs dinner?
I don't know.
No?
Let's try to move it up.
You know this is going to take a while. And then there was a second headline, Maisie Williams reacting to the Jon Snow spinoff news. And she was telling People magazine, everything surrounding the story of Game of Thrones is very exciting. We had such a rich show and there's still so much story to tell. I think it's really exciting. And I think the Kit is such a phenomenal actor. Him playing Jon Snow was just like a cultural reset. I think everything that he touches is magic, and I'm excited to see what it's going to be.
I wonder if she'll be in it.
That would be nice. I miss my Arya.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
She kicks way more ass, than Jon Snow does. Maybe it's just her fighting style, but still.
Yeah, Jon just stands around.
Well, he got a big sword. It's heavy. He wears that big cloak. That's heavy too.
Yeah.
Arya knows how to keep things light and fast, and that's a style I enjoy. But he's going to need her help eventually. He can't handle everything on his own.
That'd be cool.
Couldn't even handle the Night's King.
That's right.
She had to do that for him. Okay, that leads us to Westworld headlines. You had one first.
Okay. So it's not really a Westworld headline, but it's adjacent. So you know how Evan Rachel Wood was dating Marilyn Manson, and she said he's abused her and all of this stuff.
Yep.
And his assistant took him to court.
Uh-huh.
Because he was abusing her. Well, the judge dismissed it, saying that it had been too long and there wasn't enough, evidence.
That old thing, huh?
Yep.
I'd heard rumblings that he was considering countersuing her. Emboldened. Now, him and some others have been emboldened by the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing.
Oh, great.
Which would be bad.
Very bad. This is Johnny Depp. I love you, but you might have messed things up.
Well, he didn't want his career ruined. He's going to be able to get $300 million from Disney now because they're expanding the Pirates universe again and possibly doing a
I
TV
know,
show.
but we're talking about women's.
No, I know. I'm not. That was a sarcastic excuse for Johnny Depp. I wasn't. Come on, he needs $300 million more dollars.
He does. He wants to give it to me. He's my third or fourth husband.
I don't think you want him.
I do.
He's an addict.
I do. No, I don't.
Thank you for thinking about that.
I don't. No, I don't. I just want the idea of him.
Okay. You just want I just
want a romantic,
one night with him.
Charismatic.
What?
Don Juan guy.
Oh.
You should watch that movie. Oof.
Are you saying I am not a charismatic Don Juan guy?
You're not Johnny Depp. In Don Juan, the movie.
I see. Maybe I should watch that movie by myself and take some notes. And,
interesting.
See if you figure it out later when I'm trying to seduce you. Okay, so my Westworld headline was where we left 7 major Westworld characters heading into season 4. So just a quick refresher for anyone that forgot what the fuck was going on, which partially includes me. I've got a pretty good memory for that kind of stuff, but we didn't rewatch it because who has time? And it has been 2 years or more, at least. I don't know. Crazy. All right, so you ready?
Ready.
Dolores Abernathy. What do you remember about Dolores at the end of season 3?
She was plugged into the super brain that was running everything.
And its name was?
She was dying. Oh. What?
Good.
I had it, and then you were like, and its name was? She was plugged into... I can't remember. Something... Rehoboam.
Rehoboam. Yep. Let's see. She spent most of the 3rd season on a mission to destroy Rehoboam, which was also controlled by Bond villainesque Serac. This is an article from vulture.com, by the way. The system was basically a human version of the controlled host narratives of Westworld. The computer could predict and decipher and sort of keep people in their patterns, right? So she was on a mission to destroy that. Let's see. Serac wound up plugging her into the system to find the virtual key to Delos' forge, which is where all the user data is stored. That's what this show is ultimately kind of about, is who gets the user data. And I'll just remind everyone, Googaplazon will take over our lives. But the move destroyed Dolores from within, wiping her memories. He essentially killed her, leaving her role in season 4 the biggest question mark, because they said Dolores is dead, but we all thought she was filming the series, so, something. So what happens now? And that we sort of know a little bit, but more to develop. Okay, Charlotte Hale. What was her status at the end of season 3? 3.
She was crawling away, burned. Wait. And then she got better or re-cloned herself or something. I don't remember. And then she was like was she working with the man in black? Was she, I don't know. They met, right?
Yep.
And she's trying to like take over, isn't she?
Well, she was doing something. Yeah. Now she was a copy of Dolores when season 3 began. Because originally Charlotte was a real person. And then
was she?
She got killed and replaced by
I thought she was always a robot.
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure she was replaced in season 2.
You think she was real?
Uh-huh.
I thought she was always.
She had a kid. Hosts can't have kids. She had a kid and a divorce.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But she got replaced, and the new replacement was actually one of Dolores's brain copies inside Charlotte's body, but then Charloris
she still had like
changed.
Charlotte.
Yeah. She started taking on some of Charlotte's life.
So they became
the kid and the
a different
husband.
person.
Yeah. So she became her own thing. She had infiltrated Delos and was pretending blah, blah, blah. She was sent by Dolores to find William, but the entire plan blew up literally during a board meeting with Serac where Charlotte's host status was revealed. Later, when human Charlotte's family was killed, that was the burn thing. She decided that Dolores had been manipulating her and broke from her own programming. The key thing to remember about Charlotte is the last time she was seen was the post-credit scene. She was in Dubai and had like she might have been making a host army of some kind, but we didn't know what that was. All right, William, Ed Harris. What was William the Man in Black up to at the end of season 3? We'll make this one
killed
quick.
Himself.
Yeah, he seemingly killed the human, robot William, seemingly killed the human William, and bad stuff. But we don't know where that's going. Maeve. Where was she at the end of season 3?
She was with what's his name? Caleb.
Dolores. She was there for the final battle. She got really good with a katana.
Mm-hmm.
She went through some shit. She had some problems during season 3. Kept getting turned off and reset and everything. But she knows she has her center and kept coming back to herself and staying on mission. And her mission is freedom.
Super brain.
And she's super smart, super capable, and a sexy badass. Whoop, whoop. All right, Caleb, he was there for the final battle too. Not a whole lot to discuss there. I mean, at the end of the season, it was like, okay, well, we beat Rehoboam, and all the information about how Rehoboam controls everything's been leaked. Now what? And that was really about it.
He basically has that confused look on his face.
Do you remember?
All the time.
Do you remember how we left Bernard? Was
he in a motel room? Shut down?
Yeah. He had gone into, the net, basically. Yep. So, blah, blah, blah. He's a host version of Delos founder Arnold Weber, blah, 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 blah.
Don't say blah, blah, blah.
He made his way to Westworld. Ashley. He was with Ashley. Okay, so he and Ashley made it to this motel. Well, this is a long article. I don't want to read out every word of it. Ashley was seen bleeding in a hotel bathtub, but appears to be alive because he's a host. Bernard discovered that the key to the forge that Serac thought was in Dolores was actually hidden in his own code all along. Bernard has the key to the forge, the encryption key. In the final scene, he accessed it so he could view something called the Sublime, a sort of great beyond for the hosts and possibly even humankind. He woke up covered in dust, implying that his trip to the Sublime took years in the real world. What did he discover there, and what will he do now with his knowledge? We have no idea. But he woke up and he was covered in dirt. Yeah. How about Teddy?
We thought Teddy was dead.
Yeah. Teddy got shot in the head.
Yeah.
He was gone.
But nobody's ever gone.
Yep. I guess not. I mean, I guess Dolores must have saved his brainstone because he's back. But he had died midway through season 2, I believe. So there we go. That was the big catch up on Westworld. And now we're going to talk about Westworld.
Right. I have just a quick question.
Okay.
So what are their plans to do with all of this human data?
money, manipulation, running the world.
Okay.
It's all stuff that's sort of happening now.
Here's my question following. If you could take a copy of yourself and so that they could create a new you when you died, would you do that?
Probably.
But you're a robot.
I want to be immortal.
And like, it's not really you.
But wouldn't knowing that your consciousness continues on sort of help take some of
because they're
the
not
sting off of death? Well, they are. I mean, in the Westworld, the conceit of Westworld is that they are conscious.
I don't know.
I would. I think that'd be super fun.
But you're not like a real thing. You're not a real person.
Take my old man brain, copy it into a young version of me's body that also has a six-pack. And when I die...
Add a few enhancements.
When I die, I know that everything I remember will live on and keep learning and seeing new things. I would enjoy that. I'd rather just be immortal, but if that's not an option, then a robot version of me would be fine.
All right.
Yep.
I don't think I would.
I'd be happy if you uploaded my brain into a VR thing too. That's fine. That's cool. At least I'll still get to know what's happening. Okay, so Westworld season 4, episode 1, The Auguries.
Right.
Which I believe is like a...
I looked it up. Now I don't remember what it was.
It's like fortune telling stuff, right? Like seeing into the future or prophesizing. Isn't that what an augury is?
I don't know. I think it's like a collection place.
Okay. So the beginning of this show introduces us to characters that I was taking frantic notes thinking they were going to matter, but it turns out they aren't going to matter. There was a land deal with some shady like former mafioso guys gone straight. Now they're just landlords and property managers and stuff. But these guys, Hugo was the guy we met. They own this huge hydroelectric power plant that runs a ridiculously large server farm.
I thought that might be on it must not be. I thought maybe it was on Westworld.
I was thinking it was going in that direction, but I guess not.
Maybe William's just buying up so he can make his own Eastworld.
There's that whole desert portion of Westworld, but didn't we learn that Westworld is an island?
I thought so, yeah.
You could only get off of it by plane or boat or subway. Yeah.
Subway.
And some of it was filmed in Utah, so then in your head, it's always in the American West, and this appeared to be in the American West.
Right.
It looked like the Hoover Dam or something similar. So yeah, I don't know. But it could have been, and William was there. So the whole thing was that William wanted to buy the power plant and the server farm and was offering a handsome price for it, but this guy's like, no, I like having a job or whatever, so fuck you. And the key thing was William saying, you can sell it to me today or give it to me for free tomorrow. The guy walks away. William walks away. The guy goes home and there's flies. A lot of flies. What do you think is with the flies?
Well, at first I thought that there was going to be dead grandpa in the closet and there were already flies accumulating for some reason.
Well, that would have been the easy assumption. Yes. I was expecting him to find a dead body.
But now I think that they're little robots. They're little tiny robots.
Well, the first thing we see in the credit sequence is a host fly being constructed.
Right.
The white host body. But then what the fuck does the fly do? Does it go inside you like the thing from like Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, where the earwig goes in you and then it controls your brain?
I think that all of those flies, because there were a lot, where did they go? They went inside of his body and now they're filling him up like a puppet. They're like flying inside of him, making him move. Like
a hive of ants in a trench coat?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's
what's the guy, Ant-Man from, not Ant-Man.
Million Ants from Rick and Morty?
Yes, from Rick and Morty.
Yep. I like that. I mean, the flies going inside you and controlling your brain is the best thing I can think of. The only other thing I could think of was that maybe Hugo was unknowingly a host all along and they were just like reprogramming him or something. I don't know. But like Hugo sees a bunch of flies. We don't see what happens. He wakes up on the floor and then goes into the office and kills everybody. And then he's like, am I done with my job now? And William's like, yeah, give me the land. And he gives him the land and then he gets to cut his own throat. That's like his release.
Right.
He must have been in agony or misery of some kind.
Yeah, there was that whole like noise that was happening while he was talking and stuff, like almost like
Was there a buzzing?
a buzzing, yeah, or yeah, it was weird.
So like maybe he's a human full of flies and they're keeping him alive, but
Or
he's
they're all
in
in
such
his brain,
pain.
maybe.
But he must be in like intense pain. And the only way to get through the pain is to kill yourself.
I imagine it would be painful if you had that many flies in you.
Ooh. So credits. Yeah. So we saw the robot flies and a bunch of robot host other things being constructed. You know, it's good credit sequence.
Mm-hmm. Not as good as the first one.
Well, it's hard to top your first.
I don't know about that.
You never forget your first. That's what they always say. All right. So then we had three main chunks of the episode. That was pretty much all we saw of William. We had the Dolores chunk, the Maeve chunk, and the Caleb chunk. I guess we should start with Maeve because her individual chunk was the shortest.
Okay.
All right.
She's like meditating, reaching out to the...
Mm-hmm. Oh, you think she was like online?
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was just
Thinking?
meditating. Yeah, I thought she was just thinking back.
Well, that's why I assume that's why all the power went out because like she was...
Yeah, that's
but
a good
then
question.
maybe it was just something about her that was using energy, drawing energy. But she doesn't need to draw energy in order to like just play back memories.
Right. Yeah, you're right. She must have been doing something. We know she generated some kind of surge, which I guess caused her power to go. Yeah. Okay. Well, all good points. Good points. Yeah. She's remembering. She's flashing back to Westworld and her daughter and stuff. All the tragedies. We saw a little bit of season 3 and fighting Rehoboam, but then there was also a flashback so we saw two big computers in season 3. There was the one out in the middle of nowhere, and that's where we found out that that computer was like having a conversation with our people, and they were rehabbing people there, like wiping their minds and brainwashing them, and that's where Caleb came from. Do you remember all that? Like he had been a prisoner.
I didn't understand all of that. I do remember like watching very confusing episodes.
Yeah, like he had been incarcerated in this facility where they sort of retrained him, but that was all like serious brain condition, which fucked him up. And then all he can do is like rivet rivets and climb a building, and you know that's all he was capable of doing after that. So they shut down that computer with a big EMP. I remember that. And then they fought Rehoboam at the end, and Dolores helped him frats out or whatever, and they leaked all of his data. But then what we saw in Maeve's head was a flashback to what I think was a third computer, a third giant computer brain, and it was getting blown up. And then Caleb was like bleeding out in the desert with Maeve watching over him.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's survived, obviously, but that's where I was asking you, did we see that before?
Oh, right. I don't
remember that.
Remember that, but
I think
who knows?
I think they were trying to fill in some blanks. Because what we find out is that it's been 7 years. At least 7 years since the end of season 3, maybe a little bit more. So they could be filling in blanks through that.
And the war lasted.
I don't think we know how long the war lasted,
okay.
or even really what the war was.
Wow.
But we can take some guesses. But then, seeing all the stuff, then her power goes out. She had like a generator. It fratzed out on her. Next day, she goes to a local store, finds out someone's been asking about her, so she buys an axe. God, I love Maeve. And sure enough, there's a bunch of guys led by, and you pointed this out, a dude with white hair and a brown mustache.
Yeah.
That is a look.
Yes. I've seen people like that.
Dye one or the other, right? Consistency would be good.
I don't know.
No?
I mean, maybe it's...
I mean, if you like it, okay.
Not that he likes it. Maybe he's just like, fuck it.
Also an option.
This is what happened.
So they try to take her down. It's like open fire immediately, but of course she kills every last one of them because she's smarter than them. But she manages to interrogate one guy, the
brown
mustache guy. Right.
Yeah, mustache.
Well, and it turns out he's a host.
Right.
So she kills him. She mentions something about a Colonel Brigham, and he's like, I don't know who that is or something. So that's a character we got to wait and find out more about.
Well, I'm wondering if it's like a character that she had interacted with in Westworld. Like Colonel,
Oh, one of those guys?
Maybe.
I don't know. I guess it's possible.
Maybe it's somebody that was an asshole to her.
One of many. She jacks into his brain, and she keeps rewinding and rewinding, and she finds William. in the memories. So she knows that that's where these attackers have come from. It's got something to do with him.
She's like, oh, shit.
So she sets her house on fire, like you do, and leaves. Then let's check in with Caleb, our human hero from season 3. He's back working on a high-rise, but this time he doesn't have a robot partner. He has a human partner. And the human partner mentions something about his anniversary, which could have been a wedding anniversary.
Right.
But
I thought it was.
It seems like it might be something to do with the war.
Yes.
But we don't know what. We do know they've talked about riots and how they got freedom from the robots. So the war must have been hosts versus humans, and somehow the humans won? Maybe? Maybe the humans only think they won.
I don't know. I have no idea. We don't know.
That's a distinct possibility. But thanks to the riots and the war and all that stuff, they get to have jobs because there weren't enough hours before, because robots were doing everything, and now at least they can earn a living. Now, this is where civilization's going. More automation is always happening. It's not usually with like robots that walk around and stuff, but you know, in my industry, things are getting more and more automated. There's AI being used. You know, I work in the legal industry, and what used to be like a room full of attorneys reviewing documents can now be done by a couple of guys with AI sort of driving their searches and being like, you should look at this and this and this and this and this, as it reads through the documents for you. Mm-hmm. And that means less work for attorneys, however you feel about that. But it's happening in every industry, I think. I mean, it's probably happening in yours to some extent, right? I mean, computers make things more efficient. You need less workers.
Yeah.
So it is, as with so many things in Westworld, it is sort of reflective of our possible future. And to that, you got to ask yourself, do you take care of people once there's no work for people anymore because robots are doing everything, or do you just let everyone starve to death?
Yeah.
Yep. And it all started from the big info leak related to Rehoboam and the Insight Corporation. Fine. We meet Caleb's daughter. She's trying to shoot a BB gun, and he gives her some shooting lessons. And it was a nice little moment, if it must involve a gun, between a father and daughter. And then we meet his wife, Uwade. I don't think they ever said her name out loud, but it was in the subtitles.
That's right.
Hopefully I got that right. Uwade. He's clearly got baggage, PTSD. He's going through shit because of the war. But she loves him anyway, and he loves her. But he hears noise outside the house, gets his gun out, and then his wife's like, hey, no, none of that. But then fucking his daughter fucking drops Bear out the window. And of course she just goes outside alone.
Duh, stupid.
Kids, God. You know. And Caleb's taking out the trash, and he sees his daughter, and then there's this dude who's fucking
creep. Oh,
I don't think it was an exact quote, but it was sort of like, "Hey, little girl, is your daddy home?"
I think that was what he said, and it was so. His face is just so creepy. Something up with that dude.
And if he was working for William, he's probably a host.
Yeah, so why'd they make him look like that?
Yeah, making him look like that was a conscious choice. Or maybe not. If there is a chance that, like, okay, so let's say there was a war. We got to do speculation, or else what's the point of recapping this, right? And then we can be wrong later. But if it was a war between hosts and humans, like I was saying a minute ago, maybe the humans only think they won. Maybe that was part of the plan to control them. And it's more of like a body snatchers kind of thing now. Because William killed himself, and now he's William, right?
Right.
So maybe like Creepo Dude used to be an average ordinary creep and pedophile, but now he's a robot creep and pedophile.
Which makes him even more creepy?
Yes. And I feel really bad talking about that actor that way, who's probably a totally nice guy.
Just so you know, Colonel Brigham actually was a character from before.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a Confederados.
What? Wait, the Confederados?
Mm-hmm.
They must have been... So we had... Oh, Jesus Christ. Hector, right?
Yeah.
I think the Confederados were the guys that were chasing Hector and Maeve and stuff around, right? Like they were sort of activated as the Delos army.
Right.
Before they could get all the real troops in there. Okay.
I don't know if this is actually him. It looks similar, but he's all shabby and wearing one of those, he's wearing his Confederado stuff.
Sure.
Could be. I'd have to look again.
It probably is. I mean, how many Colonel Brighams could there be?
Yeah, well, it says, the status on this Westworld wiki says destroyed.
Oh, he's listed as being a destroyed host?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean much.
No.
You just take out his marble.
Because especially since it just started again.
Yep. Well, if you're saying what I think you're saying, yes, maybe. We'll talk about that in a minute. So this guy's going to kill Caleb and maybe the kid, but Maeve ninjas in like you do in movies and television and stabs the guy in the chest and he's down.
She does that often.
She's good at it.
Mm-hmm.
She's got skills. That's why I like her so much. But she fills Caleb in. William sent these guys. He's back. She says he's back at it. So whatever it is, the war or something else, I don't know.
Yeah.
Uwade has to come to realization that Caleb isn't crazy after all. And there are people after he wasn't paranoid. It's not just PTSD. There's some PTSD, but it's not just PTSD. She's not happy that he's leaving, but he has to go back out there. And I got to agree. If that guy was going to shoot the kid just to get at Caleb.
Right. And she's mad. No, she was mad at him because he was going, she's like, she
was more sad than mad, I think.
She was mad.
But if they're going after him, then he should not be around his family. Now, if you have reason to think they're coming after your family, but probably not.
Well, to use as
bait.
Right.
That happens a lot too. It probably would have been better if he had sent his wife and kid somewhere.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah. I'm sure that happened.
She's a very capable woman. She can go hide somewhere.
Right.
She doesn't need him. And his friends show up, Carver and the old gang, whom I think we know nothing about.
No.
And we don't know what they're doing. Maybe they're staying behind to protect the family. Because Maeve and Caleb get in a car and leave to go find William. Oh, no, to go find a senator in California. Again, we know nothing. But it didn't look like those other guys were following them. So maybe those other guys are going to get Uwade out. What was the kid's name? I don't remember. Did the kid get a name? Usually when the name gets revealed, I take notes on that, but I do not have the daughter's name. So they either didn't say it or I suck. One of the two. All right. So that was their whole plot. Now we got Dolores, or Christina, as she is apparently now known.
Yeah, that's not a good name. I don't like that name.
Sorry to all the Christinas out there listening.
She just doesn't look. She looks.
You're going to do this? You did this to Helen once when we first started podcasting.
Okay.
You said you hated the name Helen.
I don't hate the name. She doesn't look like a Christina to me.
Well, she's not a Christina, but she thinks she is. She's got brown hair now. She's got a Murphy bed, but a high-tech one that goes up into the wall.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was kind of neat. I mean, it's actually not...
It would be so helpful for exercising and...
Yeah, for in the 70s, Murphy beds were just like shit you would do in a New York apartment when you had no square footage, but she had a nice apartment with a roommate, but she still had a Murphy bed. It's a space saver and, kind of keeps things looking nice. You wouldn't have a dog lying on it all day long, getting his hair everywhere.
Yes.
Someone keeps calling her, an unknown number, but she will not answer the call. Her roommate knows what's going on. I think her roommate's name is Maya. I did notice that as Christina goes out and goes to work, there's a handful of people wearing masks.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot, but definitely some. They pass a crazy guy going, "The tower is looming over us. Can you see it?" So that's got to mean something because that comes up again later, the tower. Christina is some kind of entertainment producer. We find out later in the episode that she's like she writes for video games.
Mm-hmm.
I did like her little pitch system where she can just talk out loud and it starts modeling things for her. And I thought that the pixelated nature of it looked a lot like the brain dances in Cyberpunk 2077. For those of you that have played that video game recently, I thought that was neat. But her boss says her pitches are too sweet and saccharine.
I agree.
Yeah. She's just all about like the fairy tale of the wistful girl that wants to leave home and go on an adventure, but he wants darkness and death and despair. and she's going to get fired if she doesn't start writing that stuff. She finally listens to a voicemail on her phone. I thought it was Caleb's voice, but it was not. But it was someone in serious distress. Like, you have to help me. Yada, yada, yada. Later, Dolores goes home. Maya's reminding her that she has a blind date tonight. And for some reason, I just found myself thinking about the date and going out to dinner with a guy. And we know Dolores is not a real human.
Right.
So she can eat. I think we've seen hosts pretend to eat at times, and she has some kind of real organs. But my question is, does she poop?
I don't know.
This is an important question. This is an important question that I really feel like we need answers to.
I just pictured the bags that I just got with our green bin thing attached to her butt. And she just...
Well, maybe it's inside her and just the bag falls out and it's full of undigested food.
She must poop. Everybody poops.
Everyone poops. Yeah, I have that book somewhere. I don't know. I'm just saying. And someone has been on her balcony, so she's feeling stalked, and she has a stalker, obviously, anyway. Her date is a total douche. He is not impressive, and she wants to get the hell
she
out.
was a pretty much, like, she should not have been out.
What, because she has an active stalker situation?
No, she almost sounded suicidal.
Yeah, she's super depressed, and he's like, there's tabs for that. And she's like, well, what if I'm the one that's sane and everyone else is crazy? He's like, there's tabs for that too, or something. Like he's just, everybody in this society is medicated to keep themselves going.
Mm-hmm. That's the way it goes.
You know, there's some of that in our world too. But finally, in the bathroom, she answers one of these calls from a guy that I thought was Caleb, but not. His name is Peter, but he goes, I know you're real, just like the tower is real. And you got to help me. And no, I can't help you. And he says he's going to find her. And he does that same night. He's been looking for her for a long time. He lost everything. He thought it was the tower, but it was Christina. He said, well, no, I think she wrote real people into a game or something, question mark. But he needs her to change his story. And she says she can't help him. He attacks her, but then some mysterious figure out of the darkness beats the crap out of Peter. And Dolores can get inside. It could have been like a hallucination. They were gone in a jiffy, but she did have a cut on her arm. Mm-hmm. So that part was real. And then the next day, Peter calls her again and asks if she remembers how his story ends, and then he jumps off a building. Uh-huh.
So maybe she is Rehoboam.
She's got a little Rehoboam in her.
Yeah.
Could be that as she was getting erased, some of his data leaked over to her.
I don't know.
There was a little bit more at the end, and then we can theorize some more too. She starts maybe monologuing or something. I didn't write down what it was, but she starts talking about how she wants to write a new story about a girl who's searching for something, blah, 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 blah. When she finds it, she just, whatever it is that the girl's searching for and finds, all Christina wants is a story with a happy ending. But that's stupid. No one wants to hear a story with a happy ending. And then as she's going on this whole thing,
she's kind of sickening.
we see a figure sort of step out in the distance, and it's Teddy. Teddy's the one. Teddy's the one that was watching over her and saved her from Peter. So that's good news.
Teddy.
Now, there was one thing that I didn't write down when we were going through the city and she was walking to work, and there were some people with masks on and some people that weren't. That was all interesting. But she was like going up a long stairway in the city, and some guys were going down the stairway next to her, and they were talking about like, oh, what you mean you've never been here before? Oh, you're going to love it, or something like that. It's either you've never been here before, or you've never been there before. One of those things. Oh, you're going to love it. It's amazing. You're going to have the time of your life. And then we were online last night and chit-chatting with some people, including J. Sarge, our recent guest. And he pointed out that line and said, she's probably in a new park right now. And those guys were guests.
Right.
So, so this could be like, I don't even know what, like the Matrix, like a sim within a sim or something, where Christina is a host but has her own identity and thinks that she's programming games. But what she's really programming, she's like the Lee from season 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. She's writing stories.
She's writing stories for the hosts in the park, and some of the hosts in the park are getting sentient and freaking out, and they figured out that she's the one writing their code, and that's what Peter was. Peter could have been a host that lost his shit. And you know what? If that theory's true, then we'll probably see Peter in like the next episode, but he'll be completely mind wiped and just be a random dude again.
Yeah.
But she could be in the new...
You're probably right.
Future world. Well, it started with J. Sarge. I had to mention him to give him credit because I hadn't thought about that yet. I'd noticed those guys, but I was focusing on the fact that like one of them was masked and two of them weren't. And I wasn't paying enough attention to what they were saying. Because you know, I know we had COVID and all that, and some of this was filmed. Well, this was filmed during the 2 years of COVID, but it still struck me as odd because you can either do like Superstore did. Remember, they came back during COVID and everybody was masked, and they were like, "Well, there's a pandemic going on." It was part of the show.
Yeah.
Or since this is a far future thing where they've cured all diseases, you would just have a closed set, test everybody every day, and just keep COVID away, and then no one has to mask. But instead, they went with this partially masked thing in the future for whatever reason.
Well, maybe it's not in the future.
Fuck, also an option. I don't know.
Weren't there cars flying in the sky?
Oh, well, yeah, there's the really funky cars. Some of them fly. Yeah, there's lots of future shit. But it's still strange that there's partial masking going on. And I don't know what that means. It's got to be intentional.
You think?
I don't know. I mean, if they were just having like a few people that were skittish about being on the set without masks.
No, I don't think that was it. I do think that it was intentional, but I think the intent might have just been a nod to this is what we're in right now, guys. I don't know. Probably not. It's got to be deeper than that. Everything is in Westworld, right?
Yes. Everything in Westworld means something. They just wouldn't randomly have a few people with masks for no reason. There's got to be a reason.
Maybe it's air pollution.
And you know, if you were going to Disneyland now, I mean, maybe not you, but if I was going to Disneyland right now, even though it's outside, it's still a lot of crowded people. I'd probably wear a mask.
Maybe they're on a different planet.
Oh, we're going interplanetary now?
Some people can't handle the environment.
The Mars air.
The Mars air, yeah.
Maybe. Or maybe the only people with masks on are the actual humans. And there's like 6 of them in the whole city.
Yes.
And they're wearing masks.
That's how we know they're humans.
There is COVID. And maybe the masks are the new cowboy hats, and you have to wear a mask to be in Future World. Maybe it's called Plague World.
Hopefully we'll find out.
Oh, I'm sure we'll find out, but it might not be till like episode 7. Oh, I wonder how many episodes there are. Did you look that up by any chance?
No.
I'll grab it real quick. Vamp. Talk about other theories. What else you got?
I don't really have any other theories. I didn't even think about the masks. Didn't think about the guys talking. I just was assuming that she was a robot that was programmed to write stories.
Yeah, and I wonder if she will get to be Dolores again. I mean, the programming that made Dolores is kind of gone. So is she Christina forever? Or will she figure it out?
Somebody gave her a different identity for a reason.
The cool thing about...
It was probably...
There's a dog. I love it.
It was probably Bernard.
Yeah, where the fuck is he? Oh, God. So he
has something to do with
We
this.
didn't see Charlotte. We didn't see Bernard and Ashley.
Charlotte's dead, isn't she? No. That's right.
No, she restarted building the clone army. So, yeah, I mean, we saw the other major players, but they're missing. Thank you, Shorty. You enjoy that squeaky toy. We're going to go get you dinner in a second. All right, so we've got a lot of questions, obviously, but we got some theories going. Hopefully, at least one of them will turn out to be correct. Did we miss anything? That's a good question. Is there anything that we missed? Like, I almost missed the guys talking about, you never been here before, you're going to love it.
I'm sure we missed a lot.
What else did we miss?
I think it's interesting that she wakes up at the same every day.
She's I mean, I kind of do that these days.
She's like the fairy tale princess.
Right. She sleeps perfectly still.
Mhm.
Yeah. Always looks perfect when she wakes up. Well, she's still a robot. It's not like she's going to get zits or anything. Yep. That's all. And is her roommate a robot?
I don't think so.
Why would you set a robot up on a date?
Right.
Oh, that's so confusing. But okay. There were other hosts like Bernard. Like Bernard had an affair with that one lady.
Remember, who was human?
Yeah,
Yes.
she was human and got killed by Bernard in the end. But they were sleeping together in season 1. So this could be just like that. It could be Christina's just one robot embedded into a middle of a human workforce because the whole body snatchers thing. Like that's what it is. That's what it's all about now. Robots are hiding amongst us.
I agree.
Cool. All right. Well, again, if we missed anything, you have to let us know. That is your duty as a Westworld fan. Tell us what we missed. Give us your theories. If you have anything, please reach out. You can find me. Email is always good. Jeff@potofthrones.com or @potofthrones on Twitter.
And you can reach me at the Kid Free Weekend on Twitter.
Nope.
Kid Free Weekend on Twitter.
Wait, do you check Twitter anymore? When was the last time you did a twit?
I haven't twitted in a while, but I have looked at my Twitter.
If you have notifications, you'll take a peek.
I mean, ever since all this stuff has happened, Twitter's just like down the tubes. But I still look.
It's chaos every day.
Yeah.
I still look for a few minutes.
Okay, so let's try that again.
Yep. On Twitter, you are
Kid Free Weekend.
Uh-huh.
And I have an email account too where I could be reached at Jennifer@potofthrones.com.
Yep. Jennifer@potofthrones.com. There we go. So that's it. Until then, I think everybody should just, forget about some of the darkness that's happening because the world's fucked up right now and just get out there and just be whatever the fuck you want to be.
It's not that easy.
Oh, come on.
Well, I mean, realistically, you.
Fuck! What a sign off that was. By the way, I forgot to say 8 episodes. So I went through all the trouble of looking that up, and then Jennifer brought us all down. 8 episodes in this season of Westworld. So we'll talk to you guys real soon.
Bye for now.